What's up, War Report family? Your guy Ike Jones here. We are back for the morning drop, man. It is March the 3rd, man. It's already March the 3rd, 2023. We're talking about the NFL Combine so far. Auburn players out there showing out. Is the NFL Combine still an opportunity for players to improve their draft stock? Let's talk about it right here. Y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Yes, indeed. Morning drop right here. You got Ike Jones in with B Will today. B Will, how you feeling this morning, my guy?
All right, it's a little dreary out. It's a lot of rain down here,
It's
cloudy,
been
but
raining here in B-Ham as well.
yeah. But we here, feeling good. I'm feeling good.
For sure, man. Well, you guys are in here with the morning drop with the War Report. First and foremost, you know what you need to do is be sharing this video. Go ahead and share it with somebody you love, somebody you hate. Tag a Bama fan just to make them mad. I've been having debates with Bama fans over the last few days. Just because they're ridiculous. And well, actually, I haven't been debating them. They've been in my comment section trying to talk to me. And I'm just like, all right, cool, buddy. You have no point, but continue. But yeah, just tag your favorite Bama fan for no reason whatsoever. Share this video right now and tag a Bama fan. We're not going to talk anything about Bama at all. I just want them to think that we are. So do that for me just to troll them one good time. Like the video if you're in here. If you are the said Bama fan that got tagged, I don't care. You can thumbs down the video. It's okay. But leave us a comment to let us know that you have a miserable existence. And we will be appreciative of that so I can spot the hater in the comments. But anyway, we're going to get into the combine, talking about the performance thus far of the Auburn players. A very intelligent individual that comes on this particular show when we talked about the draft said Owen Papo is going to go out there and he's going to put up some ridiculous 40 number and it's going to make NFL scouts salivate over him. I'm not going to say who said it, you know what I'm saying? But I am going to say it was stated on this program when we talked about the NFL draft. Sub 4.4 for Owen Papo.
Yeah.
And I'm watching fans from all over NFL. Oh, this is a future, whatever, insert the name of your fan base and team. He's a future such and such. I'm watching it happen all over the internet right now. It was inevitable. The boy, he is aptly named the freak. Freaky athleticism for that young man. But the question here is, do you think that's enough for him to now be, because I believe you and Mike G both felt like he might not even get drafted, right?
Very, very late, not drafted. We knew his measurables could help him, but I mean, based on tape, it was going to be tough. That's what we thought.
Do you think that this changes anything? Him running a 4.39?
Because I didn't expect him to run sub 4.4. Like that's what changed it. I expect him to go low fours, maybe mid fours at the worst. But I mean, for a linebacker, that's still top tier athleticism for a linebacker. If you can come in like 4.45, so 4.39 is like, that's past. That's a little extra on top of what we thought he would do anyway. So yeah, I do think he has pushed his draft stock up. How high? Listen, man, NFL guys salivate over that type of speed. It makes them stupid. It makes draft, and I'm not saying you'd be stupid to draft Owen Papo. What I'm saying is there are a lot of guys who are just fast, and that's all they are, who got top 10, top 20 in the first round slots and got some good money and then fizzled out shortly thereafter because all they could do was run. So it matters a little more that all you could do was run for a wide receiver, right? Like when it comes to mind, Darius Hayward-Bay. Mm-hmm. He was a very, very mediocre wide receiver, but his speed got him drafted high. He bounced around the league a little bit, and everybody figured out, oh, you really can't catch. Okay, so we're done with that. Another one, he actually got drafted by the Bengals. John Ross, I think it was his name.
Yep.
It was just fast. Mm-hmm. Not particularly great at anything as a wide receiver. He's just fast, but that's enough to get you some odds. So now what Papo has just done is that's not just fast for a linebacker. That's extremely fast.
Yeah, that's a fast for any human being, right?
Like that's fast for anybody. I mean, if it was a wide receiver that ran 4.39, they'd be like, "Oh, let's
Yeah.
Let's get him top 10. So
DB, that's DB speed, right? He's
right,
running at the speed of a fast defensive back. Like there are defensive backs that are going to put up slower numbers than him
right,
coming up when the DBs run.
right. So yes, he has helped himself because he has pushed himself into the territory where GMs stop thinking clearly and don't look at tape and go, but I mean, come on, look at that speed. And so that's where he's at now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to actually get himself probably like 5th round, man. Like I think that somebody's going to go take a flyer on him and say, but look how fast he can run. I can do something with that. And they're going to try to make him into some sort of box safety linebacker hybrid sideline to sideline guy. So listen, but again, I knew this was going to happen. I knew he was going to go to the combine and he was going to put up some ridiculous number and people were going to be like, "Oh my god, what has been going on? Like how has he not flashed more than this?" And then they're going to see his highlight film and they're going to see him destroying a couple of people on some plays and they're going to be like, "Oh, he's fast and he's hitting like this." They're going to look at the tape of the Penn State game and they're going to see him level what's your boy's name, the quarterback?
Big Mid. I don't know. Big Mid. I'm calling
Yeah.
Big Mid. I don't remember his name.
Did you see that whole interaction when I think the Auburn football Twitter posted that video of Owen Papo and he reshared it on his timeline and basically was talking about how but what was the final score?
Oh, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fair. That's fair.
It's fair. Yeah, it's fair. But I wonder if he's gonna get drafted. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna go holler at my folks over at the Penn State channel, and see what they feel about. I'm gonna go look at their stuff. I'm sure they're doing some sort of draft profile stuff.
Thank you, James.
Sean
Clifford.
Thank you. Yeah,
Big Mid Dog, Clifford, the Big Mid Dog. Yeah, there we go.
Clifford, the Big Mid Dog. I like it. I like it a lot. But I do wonder whether or not he's gonna flash on anybody's draft board. But anyway, also Derek Hall, he put up a good number. I didn't know Derek Hall could he doesn't play that fast to me, as fast as what his 40 number was.
Right.
His Mike G's not here. I can say it. His motor is always at that speed. But yeah, I just I wasn't expecting to see him put the number up he did in the 40. That to me was surprising. But do you think he helped himself out I think what he did in he didn't play in the actual Senior Bowl, but I think what he did in the Senior Bowl practices was already moving him up some people's draft boards.
Right.
But then you see him put that 40 number up. Do you think that helps him in his draft stock?
I do. I think Derek Hall was already going to be high on people's boards because of that motor, because of his professionalism, because he actually is that leadership type guy. He is a high character individual, and you don't have to worry about ancillary things with him. He's going to be about football, and GMs love that stuff. They love of a guy who you don't have to do. I'm sure they're going to do their due diligence on every draft prospect that they're seriously looking at, but I don't think Derek Hall has those issues in high school with behavior. With college with behavior. He is a plus for a locker room, and GMs love that type of stuff. Now, add on to it that he doesn't know how to quit, and he can move as well. Now you're going up the boards. Now he's sneaking into the second, third round territory, which I thought maybe he'd be fourth, maybe third, but now I think he's going third, maybe second.
Yeah. And then again, another guy, Kobe Wooden, put up a good number. Like you're not expecting him to put the number up he does. Like this lets me know. So who was it that came on when Robbie was talking about last year coming on Building Report? He was like, man, the whole team is fast. Yeah. And we was like, okay, I'm inclined to believe him right now when I'm looking at these 40. I'm like, yo, what? Why? But my question is, and so let me throw this because we have to ask about the combine. And there was a quote from, I think it was Dan Campbell. Let me find it. I had it pulled up over here. Did you see this quote from Dan Campbell?
I have not.
I made fun of it because I thought it was ridiculous how he phrased it. But he says, "I guess it's somewhat of a spectacle. To me, it's more at this point just to be able to sit with these players. They get the medical during the week, but for us, it's to be able to get these interviews. That's the biggest part of this all. I'm not. It's not even the working out portion. To me, you grade them off the tape. You don't grade them off of somebody out here in pajamas." Running the 40 with no defender around. It was the pajamas running around with no defender around
Right.
part where I was just like, how are you sleeping at night, bro? Because nobody I know sleeps in anything that remotely looks like what people are wearing out in the combine. But do you agree with his statement that people should stop looking at combine numbers and evaluate tape a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. You're going to, whether you're drafting them from a Power Five conference, SEC, or a Big Ten being the bigger and the better conferences, or you're drafting them from Group of Five schools. You've got some tape of them pushing up against similar talent and better talent. Everybody does. Now, maybe if you're Alabama, Georgia, you didn't play anybody physically better than you, but for everybody else, yeah, we got to see Auburn playing against Alabama and Georgia. So what did you do? You got to see if it was a Bowling Green. Hey, well, this one tackle from Bowling Green. All right, well, they went to play somebody that was out of the league. How did he do? We've got tape on guys, and realistically, I need to see you doing the thing you're going to do at this level, and that's not going to get done at the draft. You're not going to run in a straight line as a line. When is a linebacker ever going to run in a straight line to just a finish line and hit a laser and that end the clock? Never. That's not a real world
I
circumstance.
mean, I
So what I
guess
need
if
to
he
do,
was running somebody down in the open field, but if you're having to do that as a linebacker, something went wrong.
right? You hope that doesn't have to happen. So I mean, what you need to do is see him playing his gaps properly with that speed. That's when that speed counts. What you need to do is see him running down that quarterback and making the tackle with that speed. That's when that speed counts.
Yeah, when you it can't where it's going to translate in today's NFL is when you have Kyler Murray and Justin Fields
Mhm.
and Lamar Jackson running some sort of read option, and you've got to try to set the edge, or you got to try to get out here on them. Do you
Mhm.
have the speed to be able to keep up with those guys outside? A 4.39 can.
Right,
Like that's the kind of guy that you want to be able to say, all right, you're the contained guy. He doesn't get outside of you. Right.
right,
And so you can go chase that play down, or if they're running some sort of, situation, it's a pitch to the outside or some play, speed sweep. Can you get out there as a linebacker and be our guy playing to the sideline on, or a quick screen out there? Can you get out there to it? There's ways to, but to your point, how often are you able to play your gap?
right,
How often, and when you get there, can you make the tackle? Having all the speed in the world don't matter if when you get there, you can't get a guy to the ground. And that's the
right,
kind of thing that you have to be able to evaluate on tape. So
right.
we'll see how it goes for these young men. Anyway, you guys are watching the morning drop right here with the War Report. We definitely want to get into your thoughts about all things combine related so far with these Auburn athletes out here. The Rogue Shop is our sponsor, as always, for the morning drop. Head over to rogueshop.com and use code RAPPORT to be able to get 10% off of your purchase. That lets them know that the War Report sent you, man. You guys head on over there. Rogueshop.com is America's #1 online dispensary. You got things for everything from sleep aid to anxiety to stress to pain relief. All of those available to you. You guys make sure you do that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, but we are about to get into some of these comments. We appreciate you guys commenting. Share the video as well. Don't forget, tag your favorite Bama fan to this video when you share it to make sure that they know that we're not talking about them, except to say that, we're tagging them. That's it. We're not discussing anything Bama related or their players or their coaches, anything like that. But just tag them just so that they can get mad and come over here and think somebody's talking about them. Because why not? We're going to start with P. Pass, who jumps in and says, projecting the range of 4.32 to 4.37 on Tank. Shed is a 4.39 to 4.42. You think Shed's going to run a slower number than Tank? That's interesting. I would actually think Shed's going to run faster than Tank is.
I would guess so. Tank is fast though.
Tank is fast,
I
but
just
I
don't know
think
how
Shed's
fast.
faster.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
that doesn't even mean that's how it's going to be bore out in the in the numbers necessarily, because I mean, you've got fast guys that might not just be great 40 runners.
Yeah.
So I mean, we will see on the field. So Shed never looked that fast, but it's been confirmed that Shed is that fast. So I'm want to see. I'm very interested to see what Shed runs, because that might do something for him. At the very least, man, his production was not good last year. He had some drops again in some critical moments again last year. So his speed is going to need to be high for him to actually get drafted.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know that he has the productivity. You talked about a couple of guys, Justin Ross and what was the other guy you said, Hayward Bay?
Yeah.
They had better productivity in college, though, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
it wasn't just speed for them in college; it was actually production on the field. I don't know that Shed has the on-field production to match the speed that would make people say, "Oh, well, we got to draft this guy anyway." He
Right.
might get a reprieve because the offense overall wasn't that great.
Right.
But if Seth Williams struggled to get drafted, I don't know how Shedrick Jackson doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
James Sawyer jumps in. OP helped himself out yesterday, and Derek definitely proving he should be a top 3 round pick.
I agree with that. Yeah, not Derek Hall's going to be a 15-year NFL vet with Man of the Year awards. Like that's just the type of player he's going to be. Somebody's going to get a great player, and I realize that he's not the biggest and fastest player at his position in this draft. That's why he won't go first round. But again, mid to late second, early mid third, somewhere in there, I think he definitely goes. And he's done a lot for himself in this between Senior Bowl and Combine. He's done a lot for himself.
John Brennan says any player with a 4.5 or below will be signed to at least the scout team. I was with some AU players at the XFL trial in Tampa on their first go round and learned a lot from some of the scouts there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people, again, there are certain things, I talked about this I think in basketball, no, we were talking about the wide receiver. I was like, there's just certain things you can't teach, right? You can try to help a guy be faster, but some people are just fast, right? Like, I don't care how much training you put me through, I'm never gonna run a 4.4 ever. Like you could put me on the best weight program in the world. You could have me go work out with the Speed Genius. You could do all of that stuff. There will never be a time in the history of Isaac Jones where a 4.4 will be a number I put. It's just not going to happen. Like I don't have a fast twitch necessary to get up that kind of speed, even with all the training in the world. Some people are just fast.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the thing. Owen Papo is just built a little differently than most human beings. So he's going to move differently than everybody else. So he's definitely going to get an opportunity, and people will assume, and it's not a bad assumption, that because he has these natural gifts, if I get that natural gifted person in my room, I can turn him into something else.
Right. And, and maybe there is an NFL coach somewhere that's like, no, I've got somebody on my staff who teaches fundamentals better than anybody I've ever met. He's going to work with this dude, and he's going to get him right. Like, I trust this person's ability to develop. Maybe Owen didn't run into that guy in college. I mean, I think the world of course, T. Will, and I know Christian Robinson was at least very well regarded coach, but maybe there's some magician in the NFL among the professional ranks, because that's where you find a lot of those lifelong, I am a this coach. There's an offensive line. I remember because he was offensive line coach for the Colts for a while, because Peyton Manning and Jeff Saturday always talked about. His name was Howard Mudd. He's just an old dude, and this is all he does. I coach the offensive line. This is what I do. The Philadelphia Eagles offensive line coach was supposed to be like this. He is an offensive line magician. This is what he does. He's not doing special teams just to get on the team staff like they do in college. Hey, what do you coach? I coach quarterbacks. Well, coach running backs right here. We got a spot for you because you recruit good. No, in the pros, you're going to coach what you are good at coaching. And if he can run into one of those coaches at linebacker, or maybe somebody takes a chance on him, puts him at safety or something like that, I don't know, because he could be he's fast enough to be a Cam Chancellor. I don't think he has the ball skills or the tackling ability to be that, but he could be something different. You just have to find the right coach to say, I see what you got. I'm going to make something out of this. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Go ahead and get him. Take him early. It's cool. We're going to do something with him.
For sure. For sure. James Sawyer says, I feel like C Rob set our linebacker room back with his coaching last year, but he's such a nice guy.
I don't think he set anything back. I think losing Zacoby McClain set everything back. I think that was the one who, like you just said, you can't make somebody what they're not. Zacoby McClain was a linebacker and a tackler and a dog.
Yeah,
And
Dan Campbell, since you watching tape, go get Zacoby on your
hey,
squad.
yeah, he's just he transcended his measurables. His play was far above what you would have gotten from him in measurables, and you can't really replace losing that dude, honestly, unless you've got similar dudes around him or behind him, and we didn't really have similar dudes. We're talking about Owen and being happy about his time because his production did not match what his physical ability was. So no, I don't think Christian Robinson set it back. I think we just didn't have that type of dude. That was it. That's it. I think it comes down to that. It's not
Yeah.
always just coaching. I know we like to put it on coaching all the time. Well, the linebacker core was like this last year. Why wasn't it like that? Well, we didn't have that dude. We lost two dudes who were Zacoby McClain and Chandler Wooten, I think, were better linebackers than any of the linebackers that we have hit the field for us last year. And that's not a slight to them. That's how much I think of those guys. We have to replace the talent that we lose with equal talent, not just in measurables, but in football IQ and ability and talent. And we didn't do it.
Let's see. James Barnett jumps back in. Fellas, with all the speed we had, could scheme and development be the reason why we weren't more successful? Yeah. I mean, the development piece is difficult, right? Because we were playing a lot of guys who probably should have gotten developed before the last staff got there. There weren't a lot of
Yeah.
like new guys that needed to be developed defensively. I think scheme definitely contributed to it. The change in the scheme from, you were recruited to come in and play a Kevin Steele defense for the most part for most of the guys that were there, and you end up playing this Mason Schmedding scheme that's a little bit different. It's going to require you to do different things. It takes you time to learn how to do those things and be better at them.
Yeah.
But one of the things that is true, and if you watched the interview, shameless plug with us and Zacoby McClain that's live right now on the channel, he talked about he learned to play zone playing under Derek Mason's scheme because he had never really played zone before that. In high school, they weren't playing zone where he was from. He didn't play it when he was with Kevin Steele's defense. So he hadn't really learned zone concepts. So that actually helped him be better prepared to be a pro and be able to be more versatile as a pro because he understands those concepts a little bit better, having played a scheme that's more built on that as a foundation. But it's a learning curve for everybody, right? And so some players adjust more quickly than others. So I do think that scheme hurt people, but I don't think it hurt their development. I think it actually helped their development, but it hurt our on the field productivity because
Yeah.
they needed time to adjust to that sort of thing.
Right. Right. Yeah. That's true too.
Dana Jones jumps on, and the scheme and development has been a little dysfunctional the last few years.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say that we may have been trying to put square pegs in round holes to a certain extent. Because Harson's thing was, I'm going to get the type of player I want, and he wasn't going to go and get. He wasn't even willing to just fill the roster with fill the empty roster spots with guys just to have bodies in here. He's like, no, I'm going to get only my type of guy. But that left us wanting because we didn't have enough. We had, like you said, a bunch of talent who had played these schemes, who played this way. An offense full of offensive talent who had been playing spread offense and try to put them in pro style and even brought in guys like Robbie whose strength wasn't going to be a pro style offense. It's like, again, square peg round hole. So for the first time in a long time, we have an opportunity to develop for the scheme, and I don't think Hugh Freeze is going to be a flash in the pan like Harsin was. He's already done enough recruiting to get the heat off of his back. I think Hugh Freeze is going to get the time to go, all right, just give me a minute. And I don't even think he's going to be as patient about it as we're expecting. I think his expectations will be higher than he's letting on, but he's not going to jump out there and say that. But I think he's going to have the benefit of the time, and he's doing the recruiting that allows him to get his scheme up and going a little quicker than Harsin did.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, it's an interesting conversation to talk about. As much as I think Robbie Ashford is a potential star just off of his ability. It's interesting that they even brought him into an offense that was not going to be suited for him. Like
Right.
there was nothing in Harson's arsenal that said, "Go get a dual threat quarterback."
Right.
And I like it's just curious that they even wanted him to come in to an offense that wasn't going to be better suited for his talents and abilities.
Right.
Um, so I have to now go back and question the decision of like, why did you even bring him in if you didn't intend to play? Like, he doesn't fit what you want to do. So
Right.
it's a little head scratching to begin with there.
Yeah, it is.
Cool Breeze jumps in. Most of the D line and linebackers are also measured on the first 10 yards of the 40, which is more what they're going to be covering 10 yards at a time,
Right.
quick burst. Can you go from start to whatever really quickly?
Mhm.
Because that's the amount of time that you're usually going to have where you're going to be effective.
Yeah, I would think their get off is probably more important than how fast you were clocking in the last 10 meters of that 40,
Yeah,
because that's way more important. Can you react to that snap very quickly and beat that offensive lineman? So that makes sense.
for sure. Cool Breeze again says D Hall will be like Carl Lawson's career. So Carl Lawson has been still in the NFL right now, and been fairly productive. Carl Lawson's biggest issue has always been injury. He
Yeah,
just has
injury.
not been able to stay healthy for prolonged periods of time to have the production that you would want. But Carl Lawson he was a different kind of athlete as well as far as his speed,
Yes, strength as well. Like his quickness
quickness. Yeah,
for his size and strength were exceptional.
yeah. Carl Lawson, he was built very differently than most human beings.
Yeah.
So Um, it's definitely going to be interesting to me to see how Derek Hall translate. I think he's going to translate well to the NFL just because of the physicality that he plays with.
Mhm.
Um, you know, we talk about the physicality of our conference, and I don't think people understand that it's not common to play that physical all the time every week.
Right.
There's a
Right.
lot of like finesse is a real thing in the NFL, right?
Mhm.
They want to be fast and they want to be light and they want to be agile. But when you just come in and smashing people in the mouth, that's why certain defense, like, I'm gonna brag on my team a little bit here
Go
that I love
ahead.
it. That's
Go
why the
ahead.
49ers have been dominant on defense for years and years because they're just more physical than most teams.
Mhm.
Most teams are gonna come and they want to be fast and they want to put up a bunch. 49ers are just like, we're just gonna punch you in the mouth repeatedly,
Mhm.
and eventually you're going to be like, okay, I'm tired of getting hit in the mouth. I'm just saying offensively. All right, cool. We're just going to punch you in the mouth over and over and over and over and over again. By the fourth quarter, you're going to be tired of getting hit in the mouth because 4 or 5 weeks straight, nobody's hit you in the mouth like this.
Right.
And you're physically beat up after playing that team.
Yeah.
It's just certain teams just play like that. That's Philadelphia last year. They're just physical.
They
We're
did.
just
Yeah.
gonna be more physical than everybody else. That's fine. Yeah, okay. Everybody want to run around and no, right straight ahead. We're gonna drive this pile for 10 yards over and over and over again. And by the end of the game, you're too tired to continue to to continue to play this way.
Yeah, they wore people down, man. That offensive line just wore people down. Somebody was the metrics. They became a very easily bet team because the first half they pass and get up, the second half they run and maintain possession. And that's why they beat everybody so badly. And they could do it. It's like you couldn't really stop them. You hadn't even
Yeah.
been on the field that long in their first halves because they were passing and they were scoring fairly easily. So it's not like your defense was tired, but if they get a double digit lead, they're a 14, 17, 21. It's over for you.
Yeah.
It's over. So yeah, it matters, man. If you can, somebody I listen to Babani Jones. So somebody that's on his show a lot is it's the guy he played football, Foxworth.
Hmm.
Foxworth. So he would get on there and talk about, listen, people talk about, yeah, running the ball isn't as valuable as it used to be. Analytics, right? Passing is more valuable. He was like, I'm gonna tell you, when you're getting run on over and
It's
over and over
demoralizing,
again,
bro.
it hurts. He said it hurts it mentally to realize we can't do anything about this. There's nothing. It takes more. Yeah, it might have only gained 3 yards, but you taking the life force out of the defense when you do that. Like that's the value of running. And the same thing with being consistently more physical than the person across from you. A defensive lineman, listen, man, when you got the best, I would imagine, I haven't talked to a defensive lineman. I would imagine once you get the best of an offensive lineman, they know, like, I can't do anything with this dude, and he's going to keep coming at me. It mentally, you are now wearing on your opponent in a way that is extremely valuable for your team. And that's why you want guys like that who have high. That's why they talked about Lawrence Taylor. Like, this is weird. Like, no, everybody who's ever coached or seen Lawrence Taylor, like, no, that's the best defensive end ever.
Yeah.
Him right there. It's not even close because he had not only
he had
that
the combination
strength,
of everything. It was speed, it was strength, it was quickness, and it was high motor.
Yes.
And he relentless speed, physicality for the entirety of a football game.
Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, he's coming just as hard and as he was, in the first quarter of the game. So
I wasn't even thinking until you said it.
But it just doesn't matter, bro. Like, and so it's difficult. And this Corey Weber, this is the last one we'll take here. It says that begs the question: can you recruit, draft physicality, or develop it?
I think you got it. Or you don't.
Like physical play. Like some people just enjoy like that, like boxers. I don't know what possesses somebody to say, you know what, I want to punch somebody in the face a bunch as a career, and then potentially get punched a bunch. Like, I would take boxing classes just for like self-defense and all that, but I don't want to make a career out of being a body bag. Like, I just don't want to, like, a punching bag, excuse me. I don't want, that's not a career choice for me. Like, yeah, let me let somebody hit me a bunch. And then, you know, because it's going to be cool because I could take it, but I'm going to hit them back real. Like, nah, fam, that's not.
Yeah, that's
not what I want to do with my life.
Yeah. I think you're born with a taste for that type of physicality.
Yeah.
You're born with it, and you get hit, and there are players who are definitely like, okay, I just got hit and it hurt. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
Well, why you?
Next time it's my turn though. Like, I'm
right.
Like, okay, again, Jacoby McClain interview.
Yeah.
He was like, oh yeah, so he was talking about Zeus from Georgia, and he was like, oh yeah, I want him again. Like, I didn't get, like, he remembers missing that tackle. He's like, nah. Yeah, I want Zamir White again. I owe him something. If I get in the NFL, I owe him something.
Yeah,
that's a different mentality that says, I want this kind of stuff.
Right.
And some people just don't. No matter how big you are, no matter how fast some people just don't want that.
Right.
And some people embrace that and will continue to just bring that to you over. And again, that's demoralizing to somebody to say, like, I remember, so, you know, kid growing up, used to wrestle, right, with different people, but it was different wrestling with like kids my age and then my dad, right? And you know, with your kid, you got sons. With your kids, you can throw them around, all this kind of stuff, but like, you're letting them win to some degree. It's like, oh, you got me, all that kind of stuff. But then, like, they get to a certain place where they like feel like they're stronger than you, and you kind of have to show them it's like, you do realize that if I use like all of my strength, this is a wrap, right? Like, we're not gonna keep doing this. And so, like, you get them to a place where they can't move anymore, and they get frustrated because mentally it's like, whoa, wait a minute, why can't I get out of this anymore?
Right.
Physically being able to impose your will on another human being impacts the mentality of that human being, where you're just like, yo, this is not fair, bro. Like, I'm literally doing everything I know how to do, and this is not working.
Right. Yeah. That's it right there. And if you have that type of mentality, if you can find play, I would like to know how you evaluate that in the interview process. We talked about Dan Campbell saying, well, yeah, we just in the interview, we're going to get to know him. And I do think you can get to know these players.
Well, I mean, you look at it on tape too, but
I mean, you can for sure. But they often talk about, well, this player has good numbers, but does he love football?
Right.
And that's what they mean. They mean, are you like, oh man, I can't wait to get in here, and that offensive lineman that gave me hell in practice yesterday, I'm finna light his up. Like it's gonna be hell today at practice.
Yeah.
Is it like that? Or is it like, well,
Do you
my
enjoy
checks are
watching?
$250,000 a
Yeah.
game. Let me get in here and just do what I got to do. Because
Do
I
you
mean, I'm
enjoy watching film on your off time, or like, are you a
right.
football nerd? And it's like, yeah, man, because I remember, like you just understand the nuances. Like when you talk about football, does it light up in your brain? And you like,
Right.
yeah, man. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. You was talking about that scheme? Yeah, man, because that game, bro, like they was running such and this. Man, nah, what we should have, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of innate in certain people, man.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, I love watching film. Not everybody likes sitting watching film like that, man. It's
Yeah.
it's it's tedious.
I don't mind it. I like for you to summarize it for me. That's what I like. I like watching your summary of the film watch. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I think a lot of it is just innate. It's just who you are as a person. You can improve someone being able to kind of get to that space, but I don't think that if you love it, you just love it. The unfortunate reality is some people who love it don't have the physical ability to go do it, right? And so you
Right.
have to
Right.
have that perfect marriage of the two.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate you guys dropping in with us. As always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. We are the War Report, sponsored this morning on the Morning Drop, and always by the Rogue Shop, rogueshop.com, using code RAPPORT to let them know we sent you over there. We're about to get out of here, but we will be back at you guys. Don't forget, how could you, tomorrow, Tennessee, Auburn, regular season finale, senior day, last home game of the season, all that stuff for a chance to get into the dance. You guys make sure that you are out there supporting the team, man. But we will be back at you guys on Sunday with more great War Report content. Until then, and as always, War Eagle, we'll holler at y'all. Peace.
Peace.